Armageddon. Armageddon is the prophesied gathering of armies for a battle at the end of time, according to the book of Revelation in the New Testament of the Christian Bible. It is interpreted either as a literal place or a symbolic one, though the term is now commonly used to describe any end of the world scenario. In Islamic theology, it appears in the Hadith as the greatest war, al-Malhama al-Kubra. Etymology. The word Armageddon appears only once in the Greek New Testament, in Revelation 16:16. It is a transliteration of the Hebrew Armageddon and means mountain or range of hills, derived from a root meaning to loom up. Megiddo refers to a fortification built by King Ahab overlooking the plain of Jezreel. Its name means place of crowds. Adam Clarke, writing in 1817, noted multiple possible derivations. Armageddon, the original of this word has been variously formed and variously translated. It is Har Megiddon, the Mount of the Assembly, or Shormageddon, the destruction of their army, or Har Megiddo, Mount Megiddo. Christianity. Megiddo is mentioned 12 times in the Old Testament, 10 referring to the city itself, and twice to the plain of Megiddo. None of these passages connect the site with the prophecy. Likewise, the single New Testament reference in Revelation 16:16 does not explicitly describe armies gathering there, only that they gather the kings to a place called Armageddon. However, the earlier passage in Revelation 16:14 suggests the purpose of this gathering, the war of the great day of God, the Almighty. Because of the symbolic and cryptic language, many scholars interpret Armageddon as an idealized or symbolic location rather than a literal one. R.A. Rushduni argued that there are no mountains of Megiddo, only plains, suggesting the imagery is intentional. Others propose that the term derives from the Hebrew mu'ed, meaning assembly, giving mountains of assembly, possibly referencing Mount Sinai or Mount Zion. Most Christian traditions interpret the prophecy symbolically as the culmination of history when God confronts evil. Armageddon becomes a scriptural symbol of divine judgment and the defeat of God's enemies. This interpretation draws on earlier biblical narratives, such as Judges 4 and 5, where God delivers Israel at Megiddo. William Hendrickson describes Armageddon as a recurring pattern. For this cause, Armageddon is the symbol of every battle in which, when the need is greatest and believers are oppressed, the Lord suddenly reveals His power. the real, the final Armageddon coincides with Satan's little season. When the world is gathered against the church, then suddenly Christ will appear to deliver his people. Dispensationalism. J. Dwight Pentecost approaches Armageddon not as a single battle, but as a broader campaign. He writes, "It has been held commonly that the Battle of Armageddon is an isolated event, but it is not an isolated battle, rather a campaign extending over the last half of the tribulation period. He notes a distinction in the Greek text. Polemos refers to a war or campaign, while mashe refers to a single battle. Revelation uses polemos, suggesting a series of connected events culminating in the gathering at Armageddon. Pentecost situates this campaign across the wide region, including Megiddo, the valley of Josaphat, areas south of Jerusalem, and Jerusalem itself. He writes that the invaders will cover the land, aligning with descriptions in Ezekiel and Revelations. He places these events within the 70th week of Daniel, describing a sequence. Number 1. The campaign begins when the king of South moves against the beast false prophet coalition. Then conflict follows with the Northern Confederacy, leading to the destruction of Jerusalem. The northern armies are then destroyed. The beast's forces enter and conquer much of Israel, though some regions escape. Reports cause alarm, prompting the beast to consolidate forces in Israel. Ultimately, this leads to the beast's destruction. Following this, the kingdom is established with Christ and the saints ruling for 1,000 years. Satan is later released, deceives the nations, Gog and Magog, and leads a final rebellion. This is defeated by divine judgment, followed by the great white throne judgment, where the wicked are cast into the lake of fire, described as eternal and unquenchable. Jehovah's Witnesses view Armageddon as the means by which God fulfills his purpose for earth. A restored world populated by righteous humans free from sin and death. They teach that heavenly armies will destroy all opposition to God's kingdoms. They interpret the gathering of nations as the uniting of political powers, a process beginning around 1914 and reflected in institutions like the League of Nations and the United Nations. These powers are seen as influenced by Satan, standing in place of God's kingdom. Interpreted as false religion, which will be destroyed before Armageddon. Afterward, world governments turn against Jehovah's Witnesses, prompting divine intervention. Christ, leading heavenly armies, then destroys human governments. He and 144,000 chosen individuals rule Earth for 1,000 years. During this time, Satan is bound and unable to influence humanity. After the millennium, Satan is released for a final test. Those who follow him are destroyed, leaving a perfected, peaceful world. This interpretation was shaped largely by J.F. Rutherford in 1925, marking a departure from earlier teachings by Charles Taze Russell. Rutherford emphasized the destructive aspects of Armageddon, devoting significant attention to it in Watchtower publications. Seventh-day Adventists. Seventh-day Adventists teach that Armageddon, the day of the Lord, and the second coming of Christ refers to the same event. They see current global religious developments as setting the stage, particularly a perceived alignment between spiritualism, American Protestantism, and Roman Catholicism. They believe the events of Armageddon will leave Earth desolate during the millennium. The righteous are taken to heaven, while the rest of humanity is destroyed. Satan, with no one to tempt, is effectively bound. After the millennium, a final recreation occurs, a new heaven and a new earth. Christadelphians. Christadelphians interpret Armageddon as the climax of history, when nations gather into a place called Armageddon, and divine judgment leads to the establishment of God's kingdom. Faith. In the Baha'i faith, interpretations of Armageddon are more symbolic and historical. One relates to writings by Baha'u'llah addressed to world rulers. Another connects the concept to World War I. particularly the Battle of Megiddo in 1918, where forces from across the world converged. A third interpretation views Armageddon in terms of the broader trajectory of global conflict and transformation surrounding the world wars. Broader biblical end times narrative. The concept of Armageddon does not stand alone within biblical literature, but forms part of a wider framework often referred to as eschatology, the study of the end times. Across both the Old and New Testaments, a number of interconnected themes emerge. Divine judgment, cosmic upheaval, the rise and fall of earthly powers, and the ultimate restoration of creation. In the Old Testament, prophetic books such as Daniel, Ezekiel, and Isaiah contains visions that later interpretations often associate with end-time events. These texts describe periods of turmoil marked by war, political upheaval, and moral decline, followed by divine intervention. The Book of Daniel, in particular, presents a sequence of symbolic visions involving beasts, kingdoms, and a final period of tribulation. One of the most frequently referenced passages describes a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation. This period culminates in deliverance for the faithful and judgment upon the wicked. Daniel also introduces the idea of resurrection, stating that many of those who sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life and others to shame. Similarly, the prophet Ezekiel presents a dramatic vision involving Gog and Magog, figures representing hostile nations that rise against God's people. In Ezekiel 38-39, these forces gather for a massive invasion, but are ultimately destroyed by divine intervention. The imagery includes earthquakes, fire, and confusion among the invading armies, emphasizing that the victory belongs entirely to God. The Book of Isaiah contributes additional imagery associated with the end times. It speaks of a day of the Lord, characterized by judgment against human pride and injustice. At the same time, it also presents a vision of restoration, a renewed world in which peace replaces conflict, often symbolized by the phrase, "They shall beat their swords into plowshares." The Old Testament themes carry forward into the New Testament, where they are expanded and reframed, particularly in the teachings of Jesus and the book of Revelation. Gospels, Jesus speaks extensively about the end times, often using parables and symbolic language. In what is sometimes called the Olivet Discourse, he describes signs preceding the end: wars, famines, earthquakes, and widespread deception. He warns that nations will rise against nations, and that these events are the beginning of sorrows. Jesus also emphasizes unpredictability. He states that of that day and hour no one knows, comparing the coming of the Son of Man to a thief in the night. This theme reinforces the need for vigilance, often illustrated through parables such as the 10 virgins or the faithful servant. At the same time, these teachings include both warning and reassurance. While describing turmoil, Jesus also speaks of redemption drawing near, suggesting that the end is not merely destructive, but transformative. The book of Revelation provides the most detailed and symbolic portrayal of the end of times in the New Testament. Written in apocalyptic style, it presents a series of visions filled with vivid imagery: seals, trumpets, bowls of wrath, beasts, and celestial phenomena. The narrative unfolds in stages. The opening of the 7 seals introduces a sequence of events, often interpreted as conquest, war, famine, and death. These are followed by the soundings of 7 trumpets, each bringing further calamities upon the earth. Finally, the pouring out of 7 bowls represent the completion of divine judgment. Central to Revelation is the figure of the beast, often associated with oppressive political power, and the false prophet, representing deceptive religious influence. Together with the dragon, identified as Satan, they form a symbolic opposition to God's authority. Another prominent figure is the Lamb, representing Christ, who ultimately triumphs over these forces. The conflict between the Lamb and the beast culminates in the gathering at Armageddon, where opposing powers assemble before their final defeat. Revelation also introduces the concept of Babylon the Great, depicted as corrupt and powerful entity that influences the nations. Her fall is described in dramatic terms, symbolizing the collapse of systems opposed to divine justice. Following these events, the text describes the second coming of Christ, portrayed as a decisive moment in which evil is overthrown. This is followed by the binding of Satan and the establishment of a 1,000-year reign, often referred to as the millennium. Interpretations of the millennium vary. Some traditions view it as a literal period in which Christ rules on earth, while others interpret it symbolically as representing spiritual reign or the present age of the Church. Despite these differences, the sequence consistently points towards a final resolution of conflict. After the millennium, Revelation describes a final rebellion led by Satan, again involving Gog and Magog. This rebellion is swiftly defeated, leading to the last judgment. The Great White Throne Judgment is depicted as a universal event in which all the dead are raised and judged according to their deeds. The imagery includes books being opened, including the Book of Life, determining the fate of individuals. The narrative concludes with a vision of renewal. A new heaven and a new earth replace the old, and a new Jerusalem descends, described as a place without suffering, death or pain. The text emphasizes restoration, stating that the former things have passed away. This final vision contrasts sharply with the earlier scenes of destruction, suggesting that the purpose of judgment is ultimately to bring about renewal and harmony. Themes and interpretations. Across these texts, several recurring themes can be identified. One is the tension between literal and symbolic interpretation. The highly figurative language of apocalyptic literature has led to a wide range of understandings, from strictly literal readings to entirely symbolic ones. Another theme is the role of human history. Some interpretations view end times events as future occurrences yet to unfold, while others see them as patterns repeated throughout history. In this view, Armageddon represents not a single moment, but a recurring struggle between opposing forces. The idea of divine sovereignty is also central. Despite the chaos described in these narratives, the outcome is never in doubt. The text consistently portray God as ultimately in control, guiding events toward a predetermined conclusion. A further theme is moral accountability. The imagery of judgment underscores the idea that actions have consequences, both individually and collectively. This is often paired with a promise of justice for the oppressed and the vindication of the faithful. Apocalyptic language and symbolism. The language used in end times descriptions is typically symbolic, drawing on familiar images to convey complex ideas. Beasts may represent kingdoms, horns may symbolize power, and natural disasters may reflect social or spiritual upheaval. Numbers also play a significant role. The number of 7, for example, appears repeatedly, often associated with completeness or divine order. The number 12 is frequently linked to the people of God, while the number 1000 is used to suggest a vast or complete period. Cultural and historical influence. The idea of Armageddon and the end times has had a significant impact beyond religious contexts. It has influenced literature, art, and popular culture, often serving as a framework for exploring themes of catastrophe and renewal. Throughout history, periods of crisis have frequently been interpreted through an apocalyptic lens. Wars, natural disasters, and social upheavals have been seen by some as signs of the approaching end. At the same time, the concept has been adapted into more secular contexts, where Armageddon is used to describe any large-scale or existential threat, from nuclear war to environmental collapse. Despite these varied uses, the underlying themes remain consistent: conflict, judgment, and the possibility of transformation.